Okay, let's see. I should be live now. Hopefully everything is okay. Oh boy, that's a red bit rate as usual. Okay. Uh, so as I promised last time I did this, uh, when the next episode of this video showed up, I was going to react to it. Uh, I reacted to the first episode, I think about a couple of weeks ago. So now we are going to react to the second episode, and I am already sure I am about to crash out. Now, if you want to see the first episode, it is on my YouTube channel. Uh, but I will also be sure to link the original video down in the description. And let's just see what this is going. Let's just see how this video goes. I am expecting quite a lot of bullshit.
Look, I'm already standing here. Didn't even have to do a walk-on this time. Ancient Aliens
Hi,
is the
Milo.
exact way that I opened the last part of this video. There is no piece of pseudo-archaeology content that has permeated deeper into the pop culture consciousness than Ancient Aliens. Most of us are here, I would imagine, because we know about it in some way. Whether you've actually sat down to watch it or are just familiar with it from the references, we all know about it somehow. I saw Ancient Aliens, like many of us, when I was a kid, and I think it was the equivalent to someone vigorously shaking me. But thankfully, it knocked a few synapses into place that made me really interested in archaeology and, critical thinking, and was one of many sort of foundational stones that led me to wherever the hell it is that I am now. I've always wanted to talk about Ancient Aliens on this channel for all of those reasons, and I had a video in the works to actually talk about it. And then I got a text from one of my buddies a few weeks back that said, Eric von Däniken died. And I was like, well, god damn it, how the hell am I supposed to do a video on this now without seeming like I'm dancing on his grave? For those of you that don't know, Eric von Däniken is the author of Cherry.
Yeah, the first episode when I saw this a couple of weeks back, I was also equally surprised that Eric was dead because yeah, it was a big surprise because I used to watch a few well I didn't used to watch, but I did watch a few episodes of Ancient Aliens when I was a kid, and now it feels like I am going to be shitting on him. It feels like I'm shitting on Eric when if I start being a bit mean now, especially after his passing. So I don't want to sound like I'm doing that, but uh let's just be I'm gonna try my best to be respectful to Eric, uh not his arguments. But basically I'm gonna do my best to separate the person from the argument.
It's of the Gods and many other books, which are the text.
Oh, sweet God, that is a lot of books. All of them are off the gods for some reason.
Foundation of the TV show Ancient Aliens. And his loss, honestly, it cut me a little deep. Like I said, his show, in a weird way, is an inspiration to me growing up. And so I thought to myself, and I was like, you know what? This is actually all the more reason to do an episode on Ancient Aliens. Because when my time here is said and done, the last thing I would want is for people to just stop talking about me. So I decided that we could come together and watch an episode of Ancient Aliens in honor of the late, great Eric von Däniken. Again, it is meant all with the utmost respect as someone that I genuinely view as kind of like a yin to my yang. One cannot exist without the other, and as much as I disagree with his theories, I do genuinely grieve the fact that he is no longer with us. I also know that I'm far from the first person to have this idea. When I was looking for the worst episode of Ancient Aliens, I came across a video that Gabby Bell did that was pretty much the exact same idea. So,
Oh dear.
sorry, Gabby, I'm stealing your idea. I did watch a different episode, though. I'm not that much of.
Also, during the last episode, he did make a drinking game every time Eric von Däniken showed up, Giorgio Tsoukalos showed up. if someone mentions mainstream archaeology, or if someone says we something we believe, or something it looks like, yeah, if I were to do that with actual alcohol, I would die. So we have, in place of alcohol, two 500 milliliter bottles of water. Again, alcohol will kill me. I am a lightweight.
An asshole. Lord knows that wasn't too challenging. There's about 8 million episodes of Ancient Aliens. Watching
Oh,
Ancient Aliens drained the soul from both of us, I'd imagine. But we chatted about it briefly, and maybe next time we'll do a collab for it. I think it's the only way that I'd be able to stomach this again. So smash like for the collab of the century. Anyway, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome you in honor of the late great Eric Von Däniken.
Milo Rossi 2026, Google debunker, day drinker, masochist.
To this episode of trying to watch Ancient Aliens desperately.
We take a look back through the ancient
Oh,
aliens
sweet
archives
God.
to the show's very origins, to examine the evidence that we are not alone. We have never been alone.
What we're showing you we do at great risk.
We are so back.
Let's go.
We are so back. All right, so like we were doing last time, we're gonna continue our little Ancient Aliens drinking game that we have here. If you are of legal age and sound mind to do so, you're welcome to participate with me, and if you are neither, feel free to grab a glass of water or orange juice and play along that way. Let's get a little reminder of what our rules were last time. I've made a slight modification. So last time I had the phrase, and if so, be one of the rules for the drinking game, but I took that out because either it never happened or I missed every time it did, so it's not worth keeping in there. And I added in a new rule, drink every time they say looks like. I don't know how I didn't think of that one the last time.
I hate the looks like
I'm
argument.
sure that will make things so much more painful. So a recap is our current rules are drink every time they say ancient astronaut theorists believe, every time Giorgio Tsoukalos, the crazy alien hair guy, is on screen, every time they say mainstream history, mainstream archaeology, or something of the like, every time they say looks like, and take a big swig if Eric Von Däniken appears, pouring one out for our boy. My drink of choice will once again be a bottle of Paul Revere's urine, the final bottle of my handmade New England heritage cider from one of my buddies. Tastes like you're heading back to the time before fucking they cured polio.
If you guys would like to drink along, feel free to do so responsibly. Do not down an entire bottle. Please don't. I have seen my fair share of drunk people, and I have seen some rowdiness. So let's try and avoid that.
Zooey mama.
There is a motorbike outside my house that sounds like they are deep throating a pipe. Please leave.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. All right, I'm gonna be kind of honest. I forget where we left off last time. Things started to get a little blurry at that point. I don't think that letting Joe Childless use the fucking pocket square is the proper way of telling how precision these are. I seen how he wields that thing. And I think you should take it away from him, honestly. It's dangerous. So I'm just gonna pick up from where Apple TV thinks I left off, which would be this part of the guy talking about hinges. I don't think there's anything else to explain here, guys. If you haven't seen the first episode, watch that one. It's all the context you need. It's a guy watching Ancient Aliens and drinking. It does not need any more of an introduction than that. Let's get into it.
In Danville, Illinois,
What a
toolmaker Chris
heck?
Dunn uses measurements taken
Chris
at
Dunn again.
Kumapuku to create a 1/8 scale model of an H block.
Okay, that's right. I remember where we were. It was this guy making models of the stones from Pumapunku and speculating about what they were used for. I also think it's rather interesting that they've spent the entire last part of the episode pissing and moaning about how it's not possible to do anything with modern technology.
And here
they
we
are
are
showing
doing it with
someone
modern
mill
technology.
a piece of aluminum with fucking millimeter accuracy into an absolutely perfect replica of one of these blocks. It speaks for itself.
To better understand how they may have originally fit together,
So you actually went to Pumapunku to measure
George.
the H blocks. What was your conclusion? What did you find?
What I found was that the internal cavities were not parallel
My
to
beer,
each
it's
other.
escaping.
Oh dear. Oh dear. No,
Glad I
Milo.
caught that. Wow, we are off to a great start here, guys.
It's the aliens trying to sabotage you.
They are. They're trying to silence me. Big academia tried to silence me by spilling cider all over my crotch.
These two surfaces right here, both top and bottom, they are smaller at the front than they are at the back.
Oh, are they gonna argue there's a
suggesting a
dovetail?
dovetail,
Oh
Creating
boy.
a dovetail, probably to hold hinges for a door. So if we put this together, we put the one in the bottom, like so.
This is one of the things that I generally don't like about Ancient Aliens is that this isn't cherry picking, but they basically it's not really in the spirit of experimental archaeology. It's more of them just uh making something that fits it. Like I think the very first episode of in the very first episode of Ancient Aliens, they had the Tele I think they had they had what it was basically called the Telema fighter jets, and it was they basically made the argument that some golden plane looking object back then was what the ancient people had. It was evidence that the ancient people had fighter jets or planes, and what they did to make it look that way was they took they took the item they believed was the plane, removed everything that was not aerodynamic, added in things that would make it be able to fly, like flaps and everything, and they even changed a part of the design to make it able to actually fly, which is disingenuous to say the least. So they say, like, in this case they say these H blocks are meant to be a something to hold on to a door hinge, and I do not subscribe to that idea, because considering we have so much evidence of the H blocks, like we have so many of the H blocks and not a single door hinge or anything that would even remotely look like a door hinge, I say this argument is really, really poor.
One in the top part, like so, and then this piece fits in there, put a hinge pin in it, and there you have your hinge.
Yeah, I mean,
What an insane train of thought. Dunn speculates that this box was once completely filled with peanut butter. To test his theory, Dunn made a replica of the box and filled it with peanut butter, thus proving that that's what the box was used for. It's fucking ridiculous. Oh my god. I love that. I love that. I like the idea that experimental archaeology is just like taking part of a thing that exists and then like just building whatever the hell you want around it in order to prove your point. Where I assume
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to mention the Telema fighter jets again, because he did mention this earlier in one of his early videos.
they were going with this was like,
I
oh, it's a
forgot which
dovetail,
one.
so all the blocks fit together. Which honestly is kind of an interesting theory, but they didn't do that. They were just like, this is a dovetail shape, and then just made their own brand new thing out of scratch and fucking showed that it works. Like, no shit, it works. You made it to work.
Yeah, that's
it's
the
absolutely
thing.
spectacular.
You try and
And
you're
of
basically
course, the most fascinating question is, what
creating
tools
something-
were used 5,000 years ago?
Chisels.
Because something very sophisticated was used, and not chicken bones.
oh, for fuck's sakes, Giorgio.
George. Chicken bones? I get your
Of
being
all the
facetious.
things,
I get it,
of all
I
the
get it.
things to make
But I'm going to be that guy. I'm
an
gonna
analogy
actually
with.
him. Actually, chickens were not introduced to the Americas until the 1300s. Drink. Ah.
Copper chisels, not stone chisels. The tools that were used to create these blocks at Pumapunku do not exist in the archaeological record.
They don't exist. Wow. So
It must have been stolen by aliens.
it must have been aliens. So is that true, or are you just bullshitting, Mr. Guy?
The thing that he created is not
As
the
of the
archaeological
last
evidence.
major
Yeah, so if the thing
excavation
he
of
just-
2013, there have been no. Why are there so many bikes outside? As of the last major excavation in 2013, there have been no items found that are easily identifiable as tools, though the logical conclusion to that wouldn't be alien involvement. Are you sure? Maybe the aliens did steal all the tools. I hate this.
fucking made up isn't in the archaeological evidence? It sounds like it's a really great train of thought. So it was
Also, considering
hinges
this is
for
a YouTube
giant
video,
door,
I'm
but
going to
we
try
don't
my
have
best
any
to
of the
avoid
hinges or
swearing
the
too much
doors.
because
And
I
how
know
did
that I
people
saw
open
a
these
lot
doors? They look
last
rather
time.
heavy. That seems like kind of a stupid thing to do. I don't know why you would need a door made out of multi-ton stones. They were just talking about why did they go through so much work to make stones this big? And then we're like, and obviously the most logical use of these giant stones was to make a enormous fucking heavy door. That's brilliant.
Pumapunku is definitely one of the most mysterious sites on Earth.
Yeah, you know, but there's sites all over the world that still defy explanation. I know one of my most favorite sites would have to be Malta. Megalithic structures.
Oh
that are
no,
some of
we're
the
going to
largest on
Malta.
Earth.
If Graham Hancock doesn't make an appearance for the Malta section, I'm gonna have to finish my drink. And if he does make an appearance, I'll still have to finish my drink. I think that
Malta?
was
Was
the rule
Malta
last
again
time.
the Bimini Road?
Scholars believe the first inhabitants migrated here from the nearby island of Sicily in 5200
So
BC.
you
The
mentioned-
temples on Malta and Gozo are more than 1,000 years older than the pyramids of Egypt. There are engineering features in these temples that are just astonishing. We're talking about walls enclosing space.
That is astonishing. You're fucking kidding me. They got walls enclosing space? One time I built a wall, but it didn't enclose any space. I just
Yeah, you know, the walls in my house, they don't really enclose the space. There's just a big ass hole in my ceiling, and there's a hole in that wall. Yeah, my walls don't enclose space. That's a lost ancient technology for sure.
built it. I'm not technologically advanced enough to make the wall go all the way around.
Paved walkways, they were ceiling, much more complex than anything else that was appearing on Earth for a very long time.
Built before metal tools or the wheel, experts are baffled by the sheer scale
Where
of the
was this
construction.
again?
Are they? Or are you just saying that? Because whenever I hear that, it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if you're full of shit.
Because I know because I know it's not Göbekli Tepe or Karahan Tepe because those are in Turkey. I think those are in Turkey.
Again, this is something we're going to have to look into in post here. Evidence is always changing as to when tools and technologies were developed and created. Not
Let's see, inventions and buildings during 3600 and 2500 BCE. There's that fucking bike again. Copper, bronze metalworking, cuneiform and hieroglyphics, elaborate Egyptian tombs, the Great Pyramids of Egypt, mummification, plow, molded bricks. Oh wow, that was invented all the way back then, huh? Cylindrical seals. Ooh, I like cylindrical seals. They're really cool. You make cylindrical seals work by basically taking a flat piece of clay and then rolling the seal over the clay to basically make a signature or a phrase or something that so you don't have to carve it in every single time. You can just literally roll the seal over it and then it would just write down whatever is basically carved into the seal. It's basically like a stamp but long. Wheels and literary. Oh right, the Epic of Gilgamesh. It is the as as far as we know, the oldest surviving form of writing ever, and it was basically about Gilgamesh going into the was it going into the underworld or trying? No, he was trying to achieve immortality. And yeah, I think he did go into the underworld for a bit. I don't remember the exact story, but it is a very amazing story. The Epics of Gilgamesh. I forgot a lot about the story, but it is it is a really cool story. How was the Epic of Gilgamesh found again? Was it the case about about someone finding it in clay. Was it? I don't remember. Like I remember there was a case where someone was looking for their goat and ended up in a small cave with a bunch of scrolls. But I don't think those would. I don't think that's the Epics of Gilgamesh. I think those are the deep sea scrolls. Actually, let me Google this. We're Google debunking. Uh, Deep Sea Scroll. No, not Deep Sea Scroll. Dead Sea Scroll. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Let's see. How was the Epic of Gilgamesh discovered? The Epic of Gilgamesh was discovered in the early 1850s by British archaeologists excavating the ancient Assyrian city of Nineveh in modern-day Iraq, specifically in the ruins of the library of Ashurbanipal. Thousands of clay tablets, including the Babylonian epic, was found. In 1872, George Smith of the British Museum recognized I can't speak today. Recognized the flood story within these fragments. Oh God, who is George Smith? Are you some sort of conspiracy theorist as well? Yeah, I mean, it did mention like it did have an account of a flood, but it was a non-biblical thing. So I guess people would be interested in that.
In the Graham Hancock way of things just keep getting older, but in the sense of it is entirely possible that there was some sort of technology that they had to do this.
I'm
That's
keep that Google tab up in case I want to do more Google.
Even if it predates, when the fucking Bronze Age started.
It's only been in recent years that we've developed instruments that are accurate enough to appreciate that some of these ancient societies were able to shape stones to optical accuracy.
I thought that was accuracy. What the fuck do you mean by optical accuracy? That's not a term.
Accuracy greater than what we're able to do.
Optical accuracy greater than what we are able to do. Do you see this gigantic gap in between the stones? I wouldn't consider that to be very accurate, quote unquote. If it's modern day, we probably fit something in there. Look how smooth, look how round this thing is. I don't think that's what we consider optical accuracy. Of course, I'm not shitting on the ancient people. Again, what they did was amazing, but it's not mathematical precision. Let's get that straight.
Do today, and so they must have had some kind of advanced technology enabled to do.
Also, I don't think it requires that much of a advanced technology to stack rocks on each other. Like, yes, it takes skill. It takes a lot of skill to be able to quarry the rocks and carve them and not carve them and cut them into the proper size, stack them up correctly. But it's not a lost technology to be able to come up with this.
Do that.
A question.
And there's that bike again. Why are there so many bikes today?
If he's taking questions, what the actual fuck is?
Hammerstones were theorized to be the main tool used with levers. They were used for bedding, lifting stone blocks, hammering poles or wedges in the ground, finishing works, and then the decoration of stone surfaces with a chisel. The National Museum of Archaeology in Valletta, Malta holds 5 hammerstones which were discovered at the temples.
Accuracy. Is that a real term, or are you just saying shit? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely just saying shit.
Name, so he must know. I have that guy's book. I bought that when I did the Philip Ziba video. He's the guy that wrote Pyramid Power, a book that I still have not been brave enough to read. Philip Ziba Revisited, by the way, coming very soon. I promise.
I can't wait for that
video. Much-awaited conclusion of my.
I can't wait to watch that one.
Characters to ever grace the channel.
I can't wait to watch the
very interesting.
Philip Ziba
it would
one.
appear that optical accuracy does not mean fucking anything. At least it does not mean anything that has anything to do with this. Surface accuracy. Surface accuracy is the measurement of the deviation between the actual shape and the intended shape of an optical surface. So maybe that has some sort of application here. It seems like they're talking about it in like a light sense, so I have no idea how this works in the physical world, but maybe they're talking about, you know how like the some Greek columns were carved in such a way that they got, was it larger towards the top or smaller? Something to do an optical illusion to make it look more.
Scholars debate whether or not the Parthenon was built with curved optical refinements in order to appear straight to a viewer, but there are many historically used methods of forced perspective to make buildings look taller or hallways look longer, Palazzo Spada, and you can find modern application of these methods on the rides and in the scenery of amusement parks, Disney in particular. Oh yeah, I remember Disney tends to use they have specific colors that they use for things like the lampposts or buildings they don't want you to notice. Like they have a lot of trees, so they often paint their light posts, the lamp posts in a specific shade of green that makes it blend in, so you don't notice them as much. And then there are some buildings that are meant to they're not meant to be part of a set. They're more of storage or to as an enclosure for some of their rides that they're not really supposed to notice. They color them. It is painted in a shade of blue that makes it blend into the color of the sky, so that basically you don't notice it. I think it's Space. I think one of them is Space Mountain or something. I've never been to Disneyland in other countries before, so I can't say for sure what uh ride it is. But I have heard that Disney uses these kind of force, and they this it's not exactly force perspective in this case, more of shading. But yeah, Disney is quite good with these things, even though there are things I would say Disney is particularly good at. Also, let me see what Palazzo Spada is. I'm curious about that one. Let's see. Palazzo Spada. Ooh. Oh yeah, it does look a lot. Oh yeah, that does look pretty long. Even though it's actually not that long, it's a clever use of lines and rows and like columns and lines to make it look like a very long corridor, even though it's not exactly that long. Okay, that's pretty cool. Right, back to the video.
Grand or more consistent. They like took the viewing angle.
It's almost 30 minutes and we're only 12 minutes in.
Because it doesn't seem
I
like
have
that
too many
term actually
tangents.
means anything. And even if it does, I would be willing to put money on the fact that whatever the fuck it means, they could not do it then better than we can do it now with the tools that we have. That is just complete bullshit.
Accuracy greater than what we're able to do today. And so they must have had some kind of advanced technology enabled to do that.
You know what? I'm throwing another house rule in. I think every time they say advanced
screen
technology,
for once.
I feel like that's a good one.
But if the ancient builders of Malta had used advanced technology...
Fuck, he said it again. I should not have added that rule.
Let's take a sip.
I think it's really funny, just the train of thought. I need like a flow chart for how Ancient Aliens works. They'll show you a site that is cool and ancient and impressive, and then they'll point out an attribute that they want you to think is impossible, even though it totally is, and there's probably an explanation for it. And then they will build the entire episode off of that. Like, we just heard a guy say something about fucking surface optical luminescence or some bullshit, and that doesn't even mean anything, and everything they're saying now is hinged on that didn't mean anything. So nothing they say from this point even applies to fucking reality.
Researchers believe answers may be found among Malta's numerous mysteries, the so-called cart ruts, which can be found all over Malta.
Not the cart ruts again.
I said it in the last episode, and I'll say it again. Graham Hancock, you do not have a single original bone in your body.
These parallel incisions have been identified as cart ruts because that's what they look like. What they really were...
It's been identified as a cart rut because that is what it looks like. That is not how identification works. Okay, like just because A looks like B doesn't mean it is actually B. Okay? Like, that is not how things work in real life.
What their purpose.
Fuck, I guess that is a looks like. Drink. I call it a cart rut because it looks like the ruts of a cart.
I call our dog a bear.
Because she looks like a bear.
Account of her looking like a bear. Here's your tail.
Dog ass.
Bear tail.
Bear tail. Tail of a bear.
The cart ruts on Malta are about 4 feet wide. They're uniformly spaced. Some of them run hundreds of yards. Some of them run miles.
Ancient astronaut theorists believe.
Oh boy. I just take a sip.
The cart ruts may be evidence that Malta was one of Earth's earliest industrial work sites.
Oh, man. You know what? Graham Hancock, I take it back. I take it back. You might piss and moan about the Malta cart ruts, but at least all he's saying is, you know, it's his lost advanced civilization of the Ice Age.
It seems like what these cart ruts really were was some...
This seems like count as looks like. I'm going to say yes.
some kind of ancient railway.
Okay.
No, that's not how. What do you mean by a railway? Do you see how deep those cart ruts go? Like, what kind of train do you have that has wheels that wide? No, like that big? Like, yet that narrow at the same time. That is not how a train works. And do you see how curved some of those lines end up going? It's my guess is probably just an erosion pattern. You know what? Screw this. I'm gonna Google this. Hang on. Malta cart ruts. I hate that I'm even typing in cart ruts because I know it's not what it is. Let's see. Misra Gal Il Kibir. That is what it means. Let's see. Okay, I can see why some people say it looks like a rail network because some of the stone cuts do look like a rail, but it is definitely not a rail. Okay, let me do a quick search on these things. Yeah, okay, my assumption was correct. The cart ruts are cut into the island, but the stone of the island is mostly limestone, which is not that it's not particularly hard, and it can erode fairly easily because the stone is limestone isn't really hard, and it is technically water soluble. So as water goes through it, as water starts running through it, it will eventually start eroding the small little channel on the stone. And as it does, it basically erodes it more and more and creates a path of least resistance, and hence looks like the cart ruts. And my assumption as to why it's so accurately not accurate, but why it's so evenly spaced out is because water will pool into water tends to basically pool in once there's a bit of a dip, and my guess is that the water will space out, and then it once one part has like one ridge, that part is one stable section, and then at another area it starts forming another ridge, and since the ridge are the low points, the part in between, like the peak, will not be water will start moving away from the peak and into the ridge, and I repeat that enough times, you're basically going to get someone tearing down the walls. But if you repeat that enough times, you're gonna get the quote unquote cart ruts. So no, it's not a cart rut. It's basic. I'm pretty sure it's just water. My guess is it's probably just water runoff.
Okay, the whole thing about a railway is that it has rails that are elevated in order for something to move across it. Those are not rails, they are fucking ruts. They're holes in the ground. How the fuck would that work faster?
Even the way rockets are rolled out onto a launch pad.
No. You just mentioned that you assume to be a cart rut or a railway, and then you say it's how space shuttles are rolled out, but you show the thing that is rolling out the space shuttle to be a track? I don't think that's how it works.
Other evidence of the use of advanced technology on Malta can be found underground.
Wait, did they say other evidence? They haven't given us any evidence yet. They just said there's
no
ruts,
evidence.
and it looks like a railway. They didn't explain how it would work.
Oh, so how's everyone doing so far? You guys crashing out as hard as I am?
How it was made, any evidence that it was a railway. They were just like, there's ruts here. And it's probably because it was what they used to move the fucking space shuttle. That's another one they do. They didn't say that it was used to move the space shuttle.
Also, be sure to feel free to mention if there are any audio issues. I hope not.
But they threw some footage of the space shuttle in there just to kind of keep your brain thinking about the really impressive stuff we've done today. It's like subliminal messaging.
A mysterious underground sanctuary dating to 2500 BC was revealed to be 3 levels deep, hewn from solid stone.
It's been estimated that they removed more than 2,000 tons of stone to create a space beautifully replicates the temples above ground.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Good for them. I wish that this was now going into them talking about how it's really impressive that so many people came together to create a project like this, but we know that's not where this is going.
Perhaps one of the greatest mysteries involve the acoustical properties in what is called the Oracle Room.
The acoustic properties within this are absolutely extraordinary. The way that their voice is carried is heard within the whole of the complex.
The ancients were using this profound sound technology in order to put themselves into a deep state of trance in order to access higher human consciousness.
What? That? No. I'm not gonna argue.
Okay. How the fuck do you know that? Was that what an amphitheater was for? That was also designed in such a way that the sound would travel. It was pretty intelligent, but not fucking rocket science. They weren't using that to enter a fucking trance state.
They wanted to go deep within in order to connect themselves with star energy.
I would...
Okay, shut the fuck up. That is just conspiracy theory buzzwords. Like if you slap enough scientific sounding words together, it will sound like you know what you're saying, but that does not mean that it actually means something. People that don't know better will probably get fooled by this, but no, those words don't mean anything together.
No, I'm 5,000 years old. Did he say star energy? I'm sorry, I glossed right over that.
Yeah, where did that even come from?
In order to connect themselves with star energy.
I have another question. What the fuck is star energy? What the fuck is star energy? How do you know that's what they were trying to access? It's really amazing that you...
I forget there's a lot of people that don't think for themselves. Yeah, that's unfortunately quite fair. Sometimes I worry that critical thinking is a skill that is slowly you know what's going to be a lost technology sooner or later? The ability for critical thinking. It is almost 40 minutes in, and I am just about 20 minutes into the video. I have basically gone on so many tangents that I have gone about 20 minutes of tangents and 20 minutes of videos at this point.
You can just say things sometimes. It's shocking. Truly, if any of you ever feel a sense of imposter syndrome, just remember that these guys are doing this with full confidence.
So how are you doing today,
I promise, you are more than qualified.
Hope you're doing well.
Might the Oracle
Please
Room
crash out with
have been
me.
used to communicate with ancient gods?
What?
Might this chamber that they dug underground, notoriously a challenging place to access the sky, be the place that they used to communicate with the aliens that were here? Probably not, no.
Or perhaps celestial ancestors? Or do its advanced acoustics
Damn, she thick as fuck. Wow. Freaky Malta.
suggest that early Maltese people had mastered the science of sonic manipulation.
What?
Nobody's gonna be manipulating Sonic on my watch. That's fucked up.
That they're using something called fractal
nonlinear resonance.
Again with the buzzwords, that does not mean anything. Oh my god, this hurts my mind. I don't want to argue about everything, because if I do, this 1 hour video is gonna be 3 hours long by the time I finish recording.
All right.
Like,
listen,
if I argue about
dude.
every
I like your
single
book. I've been staring
bullshit
at the cover of it
point,
for 2 years.
I'm going
but
to
I hate to say it, the
I'm
only
going to
time I've ever
ruin
heard
my
you
throat.
speak was about 5 minutes ago, and it was you saying something that's complete bullshit. So when I hear you say fractal nonlinear resonance, I hate to say it, I feel like you're talking out your ass.
We're now discovering that nonlinear resonances of sound waves, microwaves, magnetic waves, we are able to change matter.
Dude, what the fuck? Fractal nonlinear resonance. Okay.
Able to change matter? No, that's not how changing matter works, though. Like, matter going from, like, one element going to another is either is mostly chemical reaction, and that really doesn't have much to do with microwaves or magnetism or whatever he said. Also, like, if it's resonance and waves, I don't think, like, non-fractal or fractal things has anything to do with waves. Fractal is more like a shape thing. I mean, I guess he just says non-fractal, but what does that have anything to do with resonance? Oh my god, the buzzwords.
Maybe this is a real thing. Is he using it the right way? Okay, nonlinear resonance is a thing. It sounds like they just tacked the word fractal onto a thing that already sounds confusing so that really high people watching Ancient Aliens will believe it. In physics, nonlinear resonance is the occurrence of resonance in a nonlinear system. Fucking awesome. That's really helpful.
What is a non-linear system? I don't want to Google this thing. I don't want to Google too many things already.
You know what? Yeah, Professor Dave explains. I'm gonna leave that one to you. I don't know what that is.
Hey, Professor Dave.
I don't fucking know.
I love
but
that
I'm gonna
guy.
hazard a guess the people on
I
Malta
watched his
haven't
videos
mastered
about
that shit yet.
arguing against flat Earth,
If
and
the
the flat
Oracle
Earth
Room
argument points piss me
was used
off.
to harness the power of audio waves.
You know what? Actually, I'm taking it back. Earlier I said that I was taking out the drink every time they say, and if so, but I think I'm going to leave that in, because that's kind of what I was trying to say earlier about, like, they'll just show something impressive, make up some bullshit, and then treat it as though it were true and use aliens to explain it, and that's where the if so comes in. So I'm going to say that's an if so, and I'm going to drink.
As many ancient astronaut theorists believe.
Oh, God.
Is it possible?
He said it. He said both. He said ancient astronaut theorists as well.
The builders had this advanced knowledge
Guys,
of
I'm crashing out again.
And in
it's
fact,
less than half an hour
Advanced knowledge of Sonic.
of the video.
That pause was way too long.
Advanced knowledge of
The alien is Sonic.
Sonic. Wow,
Oh my
dude.
god, they've been trying to tell us
It's all coming together.
along.
It's all coming together. Someone write a fanfic about this.
Wattpad. I haven't used Wattpad. Oh god, I haven't used Wattpad in ages.
Of stones through the use of sound, instruments, or the banging, the ringing, that will elevate stones enough so that they can be pushed.
No. Oh my god. Okay, let's extrapolate. Yes, standing waves are technically possible. Like, you can use standing waves to lift items. I have seen videos where people use sound and then they use specific resonance. Like, there's specific resonance frequencies that create certain patterns. Like, you've seen, like, what was it called? I forgot the term. But, like, if you put a plate on a speaker and then you pour sand on it and then you play specific. You can hear my sanity cracking from over here. Yes, I am losing my sanity in less than an hour. Like, if you put a a plate of like a metal plate or something over a speaker, and then you play certain frequencies, and as you tune the frequencies, and then you pour sand or some powder on it, with certain frequencies, it causes certain patterns, and then you can use the speakers to create basically strong enough standing waves that you can basically levitate the sand or rice. But here's the thing, it's loud. All right, it's really loud, and the thing you're lifting is grains of sand and rice. So if you're using something that is already quite loud to lift a grain of sand, if we're trying to extrapolate the same amount of energy needed to lift a certain amount of weight, the amount of sound, like the sound needed to lift something this big would probably just liquefy everyone. It's gonna be so loud you're just gonna die from the decibel alone. And then another thing is, how do you have enough energy to create something with that amount of energy, like that amount of power? I am losing my mind.
Sick graphic, bro. That was awesome.
They've become completely weightless.
Dude, that doesn't fucking prove anything. Like, anthropologists do look at oral histories because it can have very important information.
What was
but
the
when
thing
you're just
called
taking
again?
it at 100% face value, you are being
Have
like,
these
that's
guys
no
ever
better
heard of
than
a
being like
metaphor?
a biblical literalist. It's not scientific to do it like that. It is.
Hang on, let me see.
It is cult-like behavior.
It's very possible that what we're seeing at Malta is some type of sound levitation technology. And if that's true, there's many other sites that may have been built in a similar fashion.
Then one place comes to mind, and that's Nan Madol.
Graham Hancock.
Oh God,
you
Nan
don't have an
Madol
original
again.
bone in your body. It's all the same script, guys. I can't help but point out the fact that they still haven't proven anything about acoustic levitation. The most evidence they actually gave
I'm
was
so glad
something
you are
about,
here with me
there
today,
being a story
Alistair.
about
I
it,
don't have
and that's
to. I don't have to
literally
lose my
I remember
sanity
when we first
alone.
featured it on the show, and the locals actually said that those giant basalt columns were actually floated through the air.
I need like a term for this. It's toxic reverence. It's not just being reverent of an indigenous people and listening to their stories. It's taking their stories at 100% literal value and then using it to support your theory that has nothing really to do with their stories because you can make it work. While many groups did hand down their stories over time,
Yeah, this is what I
it's
also
worth noting
really
two
dislike.
things. One, we live in a post-colonial world.
This is one of the things I really dislike as well. People using the stories of the indigenous people or the native people, or the people who are already there, and then taking them at 100% face value, and then what is this called? Cherry picking or confirmation? No, it's not confirmation bias. I think I think this is just cherry picking at this point. But using something to just prove your point, by not even using a single bit of critical thinking, it just pisses me off so much.
World where many groups have had their cultures ripped from them, it does not take very long to lose the memory.
In quantum theory, sound is more likely to create a harmonic balance energy shield than it is to levitate large objects. The current odds of harmonic energy shields are under 12%. I'm going to stop you right there because I do not understand quantum theory. I am not smart enough to understand that, and I'm not going to pretend to actually do.
Of something if you have it fucking beaten out of you. And two, once a memory is lost, new stories will arise to explain these things. A good example of that would be the mounds in North America. By the time colonization was happening, the mound building cultures had more or less disappeared. And the modern indigenous people were obviously the descendants of those groups.
The things that happened in that
Some of them
video.
had oral memories of their ancestors building them, others of them had legends about how they were built, and many of them had these stories largely embellished to be something grandiose, as is the way oral history works. So
Yeah, like
taking
Lovelock
their
Cave.
modern story that has been handed down so many generations and interpreting it as 100% literal to support ancient aliens theory is almost disrespectful to the ancestors of these people, even though you are technically listening to their stories.
Yeah.
More than 2,500 miles southwest of Hawaii, completely
Micronesia
isolated
again.
in the Pacific Ocean. This Micronesian landmass is home to just 34,000 people, mainly farmers and fishermen. But there is one area of the island that is completely uninhabited: the lost city of Non-Madal. The native islanders believe this ancient site is cursed. And it is also home to some of the most mysterious archaeological ruins.
Many of these stories also involve certain substances that we that we now know causes vivid imagination. Yeah. Also, like back to the one of the argument points the host of the show said earlier, like, oh, the ancient people believed that the basalt pillars were levitated over there. Yeah, because like if you don't know any better and then you look at this, that you if you don't know anything about science and then you look at a basalt pillar, it looks unnatural. It is because all the pillars look hexagonal. It is a lot of them are straight. They are arranged together and then they form unique patterns because they're all hexagons, and then they can all stack up very well. That's how basalt pillars work. I would assume because because hexagons. Why are there so many bikes today? Because hexagons are a very stable shape. So once they break into a hexagon shape, they are very stable, and they form all these like pillars that look like they were placed there intentionally. So my assumption is that natives saw that, and because they don't know how basalt works, good Jesus Christ. Like natives would see the basalt pillars, and because they don't understand how basalt pillars work, created a legend that say that they were that the basalt pillars were levitated into place. That does not mean they're actually levitated into place. Basalt pillars are created through volcanic activity. Hello, Hangtown. You have caught me crashing out yet again. We are 52 minutes in, and we are 24 minutes into the video.
In the world.
But how is that any different?
Ancient civilizations often created mythical stories to explain the unknown instead of learning the truth. Your favorite example is the Japanese myth of Oni, Tanuki, and Kitsune causing different types of bad luck. Yeah, exactly. Like, how's WoW's been for me, Joe? I haven't managed to play it yet. Because I had work. But I did start the game at least, and it runs smoothly on my laptop. I just need to remember the controls because I keep sheathing my weapon, trying to attack, because I keep thinking the right trigger and right button is the attack button, even though it's not. Like for example, my my model is a Tengu. The Tengu, like in Japan, the Tengu look like birds, but if you look at the kanji for Tengu, it is literally sky and dog. So why? So if you look at the kanji, you may ask, why is something that looks like birds and crows, like they have wings and everything, why are they associated with dog in the name? Well, the word Tengu actually originates from China, and it actually originates in ancient China, and it is pronounced, and the original word is Tiangou. Why? Well, basically, comets. Whenever comets would enter the atmosphere and then they hit the atmosphere, they break, and breaking creates a loud. It sounds like a bark. So the ancient Chinese basically associated that sound with like they called it a sky dog because it sounds like barking in the sky. And when that legend came to Japan, it slowly evolved into being more bird-like than dog, even though it still keeps the original kanji of sky dog. And you know that's how the stories work. They didn't know that it was basically a comet breaking up in the atmosphere, so they said it's a dog in the sky. That's you can also see how many civilizations back then, when it comes to eclipses, thought it was something eating the sun or the moon. I think in Mandarin as well, the term for uh eclipse is like the term for solar eclipse or lunar eclipse is the term for sun and or moon followed by eat, because it basically traces its origins back to people believing that the sun or moon was being eaten. History.
Different than what y'all are doing. You're like, the natives believe this place to be cursed. Like, dude, you're looking at this place and also attributing it to supernatural forces.
Most archaeologists agree that construction of these artificial islands began sometime in the 13th century. Each has been formed with columnar basalt, a black rock that forms when basaltic lava from a volcano cools in the form of columns.
I'm half surprised they didn't say that they're remains of ancient trees. They're smarter than most fucking TikTok conspiracy theorists.
Oh god, is that Shane? Is that Shane Vibes? I hate that guy. I hate him so much. But the ancient tree they're probably talking about the Devil's Tower or something. Or as I would prefer to call it, Bear Lodge, because that is what the natives call it, and I don't like it. Because the American the colonists came in and they see, oh look, Satan. As for context, the natives call it Bear Lodge because they have a story about kids running up to this a plateau, or like they ran up a hill like this, and then trying to escape a giant bear, and the bear scratching at the walls of the mountain created those striations, which is basically the columnar basalt. Hey.
Number of columnar basalt outflows across Pohnpei itself. And we know of several of these outcrops that were used to mine the basalt.
But how did the native people living here 800 years ago manage to build 92 islets out of giant basalt columns?
Dude, why, like, the way you phrase that, how did the native people living here 800 years ago manage to do this? Bro, this was only 800 years ago. That's not that fucking long ago, and the people you are talking about literally reached this island on fucking outrigger canoes. This was an established culture and civilization. Just because it's remote today doesn't mean they were like, you know, fucking like primates out there trying to like, you know, figure out how to knock fucking rocks together. This was only 800 years ago. What the fuck are you talking about? This was during like where the Crusades and shit were happening when this was built. That is.
Yeah, I think like I think this was during the time when the Cologne Cathedral was still being built. It's not that long ago. Okay, granted, the Cologne cathedrals, but took about 800 years to build, so.
Isn't that hard to believe?
Researchers estimate that each stone log used to construct the megalithic structures weighs between 5 to 50 tons, stacked to form walls as high as 25 feet tall.
Oh. Hang on, I have someone here. Give me a second. Okay, how long was I gone? So my my housing agent came because I had to discuss something with them. I thank you for staying here for so long. I am sorry for the long disappearance. I'm going to be sure to cut this part out. I did not expect them to show up all of a sudden. They said they were going to call me when they needed to show up. They did not call me. So, oh well. Let's get back to the video.
And 17 feet thick. Archaeologists believe that it was an undertaking that most likely would have required all 25,000 island inhabitants to complete.
Okay, there you go. Congratulations, guys, you solved it. Archaeologists say that it probably would have taken pretty much everyone working on this. Okay, then there you go. Everyone fucking worked on it. What did I say in the last episode about fucking teamwork? You are building the capital of your empire together as a community
used to be the capital of an entire empire,
the test of time. Here it is, 800 years later. Archaeologists said that it would be possible for that amount of people to do it. They literally just said it themselves. I don't know what the fucking problem is here.
Around the ruins of Nan Madol are many canals, which researchers and archaeologists say were the routes.
Researchers and archaeologists say, I'll count it.
It's taken by boats to move these basalt columns across and around the island to construct the huge megalithic site.
Mainstream scholars insist.
Oh, here we go.
Mainstream scholars.
Native people built Nan Madol using ropes, rollers, and rafts.
And that is difficult to believe. Why exactly?
Attempts to prove this theory have failed.
Give us a little more. Tell us about some of these attempts. What failed about them? Are you serious, or is that complete bullshit?
But could there be another explanation for how these ancient people were able to move such massive rocks miles across the island and into place in the ocean without the help of modern machinery?
Boats
yes.
and rollers.
Their hands. Ancient machinery.
According to local legends, the ancient builders used a much more profound method of construction, an advanced anti-gravitational technology.
I'm gonna say it again. You are literally doing the exact same thing. The exact same thing.
Yes, like earlier in the episode, they mentioned how like the people, like they mentioned how the people here view this area as cursed, and hence they don't want to go there. That's why, and I'm pretty sure with their belief of why it's cursed, slowly created more and more stories about maybe like the people who lived here used to use they had some sort of magical powers that allowed them to create these sort of structures, and that's why they think it's a cursed place.
This is just like human superstition, but it gets to be on a TV. These guys just have a fucking microphone and access to fucking Premiere Pro. Jesus Christ.
That ancient astronaut theorists believe may
drink!
explain many of the world's mysterious megalithic sites.
Ah yes, Stonehenge, the one place in all of the more or less the one place in all ancient like history conspiracy theories that is not that is actually in Europe.
Stonehenge.
Some legends state that the stones were actually flown from one part of the island to another.
Bro, I don't give a fuck what the legends think. Why don't you analyze them with like an ounce of fucking critical thinking? What else do the legends say?
Use logic.
What else do they say? Because I
please.
would imagine they say more than just like, yeah, the aliens showed up and flied them over there. Flied them? Floyd them.
This is very reminiscent of what researchers call auditive levitation, which was a technique of raising heavy stones by matching the sound frequency of matter.
No, if you match the sound frequency of an item, doesn't that thing just fucking break? You know, we have heard things about like we've seen videos of people shattering wine glasses by like, you know, creating a note matching its resonance. If you match a resonance, if you match a sound to an object's resonance, it will resonate and break down.
I don't think that means anything. That is just a fucking word salad. Auditive levitation. Let's do a little Google search here. Let's Google debunk, shall we? Acoustic levitation is a method of suspending small objects in midair using powerful, high-frequency sound waves, typically ultrasonic, to create standing waves with pressure nodes that counteract gravity. The examples given is somebody lifting what appears to be grains of salt.
Sand.
Ah, a styrofoam ball.
See?
What do you think about that? You think you could scale that up to move the things at Nan Madol, moving small styrofoam pellets? I want to.
You see how I mentioned this earlier in when I argued about levitating objects with sound, it takes a lot of power to levitate something really, really light.
Emphasize a couple words here for you. Small objects using powerful high-frequency sound waves. If we use our imagination here and try and scale that up to moving large objects like a fucking 10-ton columnar basalt, I would imagine the sound waves required for that would
Acoustic levitation is achieved using standing waves, not raw force. By an editor's calculation, you would need an equivalent of about 1 megaton Minuteman warhead bombs going off 20 times per second, 10 kilometers apart to generate a standing wave that has a theoretical chance of levitating that block of basalt in between them. Do you see what I mean when I said it requires a absolutely ridiculous amount of power to be able to levitate something that is that heavy?
probably shred flesh from bone. It would turn you into a pile of fucking cherry jello. How the fuck is that more believable than people using, like, fucking ropes and standing up there and lifting that goddamn thing into place with, like, 100 people? Come on. I need to hear him say that again. That was just such a great fucking word salad sentence. Do that again.
I hate conspiracy theorists using just
researchers
buzzwords.
call auditive levitation, which was a technique of raising heavy
what
stones
researchers call, you mean
by
what bullshit
matching
calls.
the sound frequency of matter.
That does not mean fucking anything. That's like when people say toxins. They never actually mean fucking toxins because they have no idea what toxins means. Toxin is just an amorphous thing that is bad for you. The frequency of matter is just a thing that you can't see, and so they can attribute whatever the fuck they want to it because it's a frequency and you can't see it, so you just have to trust it's there.
The people themselves who still to this day live there in Pompeii say that this place was not built by us. It's been here before we arrived.
Yeah, I'd imagine, unless one of them is 800 years old, I would hazard a guess it's been there since long before they were there.
Henry, do you think you can calculate the weight of this?
Yeah, we can certainly estimate it. I have a measuring tape. We can estimate the volume.
Did George get, like, airdropped in here or something? Everyone else is sweating absolute sack, and George is just absolutely radiant. I mean, nothing surprising here, I guess, but still, shocking to see when everyone around him looks like they just fucking fought, you know, through fucking Verdun.
You're looking at a weight of about 54 tons.
54 tons,
yeah.
then.
So 50 tons, give or take.
And you have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those monoliths essentially stacked on top of each other at a height of 40 feet.
So, Gus, what is then the oral history of moving this stone on the island?
Well, according to the legends, the stones were flown up here.
Oh, wow. All right, what's the history? Come on, tell us. Say the thing about the stones being flown up here.
For generations, the people of Pompeii have told the story that Non Madal was constructed by strange visitors through a process of levitation. It is this legend.
Also, by the way, why am I arguing about this so fervently? It's not like anyone's actually going to see this and change their minds. I don't know why I am going so hard on this.
That is suggested to ancient astronaut theorists that Non Madal is not only
suggested to ancient astronaut theorists.
Oh,
I'm going to take the last swig of
my 500 milliliter bottles.
Henry Dawes dip juice bottle.
I like how we
Henry
both finish a
Dawes,
bottle
the guy
about
that
the
was
same
late
time.
to the midnight ride because he was with his mistress. No, that wasn't Henry Dawes. That was no, was it William Dawes? Jesus Christ, you fucking.
The man he is referring to is Samuel Prescott. He didn't belong to the original plan to spread the warning during the midnight rise. He joined them while he happened to be in town, reportedly after an evening with a woman friend at around 1 a.m. Though this is likely an embellishment, so not really a mistress, and not William Dawes, but close. I have no idea what this is about. Someone tell me about this in the comments.
Live next to Lexington your entire life, and you don't even know the names of the people in the fucking midnight ride. God damn it. Your name's
The only Lexington I know about is the aircraft carrier.
I'm gonna get another drink because I am out. Oh, we're in here again. How cold. In the last video, I made a little bit of an announcement, and I want to make that announcement again for anyone that for some reason didn't see the first part or has short-term memory loss. I have one thing to say to you.
The Atlantis video?
Atlantis. I see and hear you guys asking about it constantly, and I don't blame you, okay? I dug my grave, I'm gonna lie in it. Now, I know it's taking literally years, but at long last, I am this close to actually having an update on what the hell is happening with Atlantis. I'm still figuring it out because I don't want to make more promises I can't keep, but I will give this information in the annual Uncut Vermont podcast, which is our April Fool's video. So stay tuned, April 1st. There's gonna be Atlantis. There's gonna be me, there's gonna be you, there's gonna be Atlantis. Go watch the other episodes of the Uncut Vermont podcast if you haven't. It's the dumbest shit you'll ever see.
I love the April Fool videos. It is ridiculous. And it also shows how easy it is to just come up with a conspiracy theory. It's ridiculously funny. You guys should, I highly recommend, like, if you guys ever have the time to just watch the videos.
See, you're going to want to be prepared for it. Don't go in blind.
And
in
when
honor of how
the
much
Atlantis video comes out, I am going to react the hell out of it.
Since digging myself this grave, I thought that it would be fun to do a little homage to the many episodes that have come and gone. Awful archaeology poster, baby. You guys know that I love my old antique maps and atlases and things like that, so we decided to do a cool informational graphic poster from, like, you know, 50s classroom kind of thing. This poster contains every discovery talked about in Awful Archaeology so far, hand illustrated by my wonderful partner Zaboski, with a little blurb written by yours truly. We also have some stickers with each one of the discoveries on it. I already took some off of this. We got the Dendera light on there with that one. Everyone wants to see it again. Yep, there we go. And the crowd goes wild. And then we got this, the Oldaway man up there. Woo! As a little reminder, I don't do any sponsorships on this channel, which is dumb of me because an account of this size could be absolutely raking it in if I shelled out for every fucking, you know, corporation that emailed me. But I don't do that because I could never live with myself if I shelled out to sell you guys a fucking VPN or something. But I know we all gotta make our bag and I gotta put fuel on the fire, so I've made the commitment to try and do that by putting nice things out into the world. Proceeds from all of the merch go to helping run the channel, pay the team, and a cut even goes to the artist who created them. And hopefully you get something beautiful that doesn't look like just some, you know, generic YouTuber merch that you can proudly decorate your home with, and know that you are part of the reason that we are able to continue doing what we do here. If you're interested in checking out the Awful Archaeology poster or stickers, links to that is in the description of this video. miniminuteman.com. You can go click it now. You can open it in another tab so you don't forget for later. And remember, Atlantis, April 1st. You can remember it. AA, Atlantis, April 1st. Alcoholics Anonymous, Ancient Aliens, Awful Archaeology, Ancient Apocalypse. There's a lot of AAs in my life, isn't there? Anyway, let's get back to the drinking.
AA batteries.
Thanks again for all purchases. We love you guys. Mwah.
How about a twee? Can twee it up?
Oh, twisted tea. And for anyone living in America, what is twisted tea? Has anyone tried drinking it before? Please tell me how it tastes.
Before we get back into it, everyone, water break. Drink water.
I have been drinking water.
I'm gonna bring your little body over here to me. Yes, perfect, excellent. She's a fucking weird little Muppet. A Muppet.
I managed to read all that, but I can't speak that fast.
All right, back to it.
A story about two brothers, Olusopa and Olusiba. They managed to construct what you know today as Nan Madol. According to oral histories, the stones flew to the Nan Madol area. How did they fly there? We don't know.
The two brothers who started Nan Madol, according to Bunpenleche, were foreigners. They were not from here, so we don't know where they were from.
According to legend, the twin sorcerers who created Nan Madol.
You can't pull a fast one on me like that. Did you fucking hear that shit? It makes perfect sense that the thing that survived in this story is the two brothers coming from a far-off land and building Nan Madol. It makes perfect sense as well that the exact technicalities of how they built Nan Madol did not survive, because while that's very interesting to us now, that was probably not very interesting back then. Do you think Romulus and Remus were fucking, you know, actually nursed by a wolf? Probably not. Romulus and Remus are probably an embellished story of something that may have been real at one time. It's probably similar with this. This was also fucking in the South Pacific. So of course they came from somewhere else. They were Pacific Islanders. They sailed there. Did you think people just randomly fucking like dropped in like out of the goddamn fucking battle bus into different parts of the world? Jesus.
Were of giant proportions.
Oh god, again of the giants. Oh god, there's so many conspiracy theories talking about giants. You know, Lovelock Cave, the giant bones when people when the early colonists plowed through indigenous burial mounds. There are so many things about giants because I'm pretty sure it is an embellishment of the story after seeing it over it's basically a big fish story about people digging up a grave and seeing, oh look, it's this big, and then more and more people keep trying to tell the story and it becomes a giant. And I'm pretty sure this is probably the same case where, you know, some relatively tall people came in and then over time it was embellished to become giant people.
Oh my god, they were giants too.
He's equally
They were the
annoyed as
Giants
I
of
am.
Lovelock Cave. Giants of Lovelock Cave available now on the
Again with this Giant of Lovelock Cave video, I am still kind of pissed because I went to record my reaction to it, thinking I would be able to upload it to YouTube, but then I forgot to track the audio. Like I forgot to pick up the audio from the video, and it became a video without the audio, which is so annoying. So unfortunately, I'm not going to make another watch through of it because it's going to be disingenuous and I won't be able to add anything new to it anymore.
Mini-Minuteman channel on YouTube.
Similar stories involving levitation are associated with numerous other megalithic sites.
Is this about
like
the H blocks?
Stonehenge
Oh,
in
for
England,
fuck's sake.
the Great Pyramid in Giza, Egypt, the Uxmal Pyramid in the Yucatan Peninsula, and
That is
Pumapunku
really
in
steep.
Bolivia.
That is
I'm sorry,
really
what's the connection with any of those things?
Looks like.
Looks like. Drink.
There are
Dippy
other
time.
stories
And George.
around the world that say the exact same thing, how gigantic stones were moved into place as if by magic. And you have to ask yourself, is there a connection?
Yes, I would say yes, there is a connection as to why so many people thought it was levitated. They didn't know better. Like if you just pick I'm not trying to shit on the ancient people, but if you have no prior knowledge of how these things can be done, what would you think if you have no knowledge of science whatsoever? You don't know how to create ramps to pull things up. Like you never had to do that before, and you see something like this, what would you do? Like you would probably have some sort of superstition or a story created to explain why something is like this. If you don't know it, you would probably just create a story to come up with a explanation that makes sense to you with your current worldview. And not to argue about religion or anything, but this is also one of the reasons why religion comes to place. People create a deity to explain something and people follow it. And I have no problem with religion. All right, people can believe whatever they want. I don't mind. So people don't know how the stones were placed up there, so they create a story and say, oh, it was probably levitated up there. And because there are so many of these ancient sites and people who see it, it is probably a very similar reaction to people all around the world that they would just say, oh, maybe it was levitated.
No, that's just the thing that everyone does. It is just a natural progression that when you have forgotten the exact process to do something, you are going to attribute it to more and more outlandish fucking explanations. You are literally doing it right now.
We've done scientific studies, and 40% of the rocks that comprise this site here came from the north. So it does kind of collaborate our oral legend that it came from the north. The other 60%?
Yeah, they don't know. I think they don't know where it came from. But it's not from here, right?
Excuse me, indigenous man, shut up. They don't know where it came from, right? It came from somewhere else. That's what I think.
Nobody's been able to source that.
So yeah, 60% of the stones, they don't know where they came from.
That's incredible. That the 60% is essentially still a mystery, yes?
but not that big of a fucking mystery, dog. Like, almost half of them came from a specific place on the north side of the island. Odds are the other fucking almost half just came from other parts of the island. Like, it is the god of the gaps. They will just find, like, they were literally asking him a line of questions to figure out the thing that we're not really sure about, and that's where aliens live. You know, those stones were floated here from fucking Ireland. I don't know.
Yeah, and also the stones are still columnar basalt. It's basically the same type of stone. It's just a different location they got it from.
A growing number of scientists have become convinced that it came from a volcanic outcropping located 25 miles northeast of Nan Madol, called Huisin Malak. The unusual formation extends over 400 feet into the air, and incredibly, the rock used to construct Nan Madol appears to have been extracted from the least accessible part of the mountain, the very top. But how? According to the oral history of Pompeii, the basalt was taken by what the natives referred to as a giant bird.
There's one story that says that at some point there were these giant roosters.
I am going to argue again, but I want to try and reduce the amount of arguing I am doing.
Took these basalt blocks and flew them over to Nan
What
Madol.
the fuck?
Oh, whoa. Damn, that graphic is awesome. Holy shit, I'm glad I'm not tripping for that, or that would have freaked me the fuck out. Holy hell.
We do not condone or encourage the use of illicit substances. Nothing presented here should be interpreted as advice, instruction, or endorsement. We support safe, lawful behavior and strongly recommend keeping all individuals within the boundaries of common sense and law. Life is a natural human trait. Our content is intended to educational and
Ooh,
now,
that's a lot of
monster
colors.
roosters do not exist, so my mind always goes to...
Monster roosters? That's just, like, out of the question. That's ridiculous. Why would you... It's a stupid thing to say. Aliens? That makes sense. That makes sense. Wow. Okay, I honestly am not going to give too much into this. This one can be a little editor pop-up. Is there actual evidence they took this from the top of the mountain? Is it actually from this mountain?
Let's see. According to studies from 2012 and 2016, the basalt cannot be proven to be specifically from Huisin Malak, but it is a byproduct of volcanic activity like an eruption or lava flows. So it is a very vague. It could be, but it also could be anywhere on the island with that logic. Yeah.
I don't know. One way or another, even if it did come from the top, that doesn't mean that it was fucking aliens, okay? God.
Man, look at this.
Also, my assumption is if it is from the top, maybe it erosion just broke off the columns and it probably fell from there. I don't know. It still sounds like using columnar basalt that fell from the top still sounds more likely than giant monster rooster grabbing it and flying it to the building site. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure if it falls, it's gonna crack into a million pieces. But that still sounds more logical than giant rooster.
Wow, what a query. So how does one free the basalt from this wall?
Yeah, no, it would certainly require some specialized tools, some type of excavator, some type of drill tip. And once you start taking rocks off, depending on how much room you have to drive things up, depending on the size of the blocks, you might need a crane to sort of move things around.
Dude.
You just need like some sort of chisel to break the stone.
You might need an excavator or a crane. Like, yeah, bro, that's what we'd use now. But you wouldn't have had that back then, so they didn't fucking use a crane. But when you say crane, you're painting an image in people's head. It's like the weird subliminal messaging shit was showing the fucking rocket earlier.
How did people from at least 1,000...
Wait, what was that?
Shit was showing the fucking rocket earlier.
How?
Don't comment about...
How did people from at least 1,000 years ago remove these blocks from this quarry?
They had to somehow pry these columns out of the cliff and, you know, remove them so that they would be, yeah, a standalone piece of prismatic basalt, and then move it, millions of tons of it. I would think that, yeah, there was very much a
Most likely, they use stone chisels or copper chisels to break the columnar basalt, and then the workable pieces they would use ropes and rollers made of they would use ropes, and then they would use rollers made of logs or whatnot to just drag the stones to where they needed to go. And then if it comes to the edge of the island, then they would use a boat to sail it to where they needed it to go. It's not that hard to like this. Like, how is that explanation less plausible than alien came to Earth? They use big chicken monster, grab basalt, fly. I don't know. I guess I have my money on the giant monster cock.
Special survey done of this island, looking for material.
Honestly, taking the columnar basalt out of the fucking wall is the least unbelievable part of this entire thing to me. I don't know why they're harping on this. We're gonna do what we did last time. Imagine you were tasked with getting one of these columns out intact. What I would do with the massive labor force I have is I'd get up there with a bunch of buddies and I'd be like, all right guys, what we're gonna do, we're gonna get some fucking, I don't know, sticks and rocks and shit, and we're gonna start jamming them into the crack here, and we're gonna start prying this thing out.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna send fucking...
Oh yeah, that's an even better explanation. If they didn't even have chisel tools, they can just pry the stone apart and break it off. This is an even better explanation. You don't even need a chisel, just snap the damn thing off.
50 guys off into the woods, and I'm gonna be like, I want all of you to come back with armfuls of grass and pile the grass on the ground.
Yeah, and let it fall, and so it doesn't break.
As big as this fucking basalt is. It's absolutely massive. Me and my buddies, we're prying away on this fucking thing. Boom, it comes out, it falls, it compresses that grass a lot, but that breaks the fall enough that this thing is now on the ground and not broken. They're not just prying this thing out and letting it hit the ground and shatter, but there's pretty logical ways that you could, with a lot of people, acquire the resources to bring this thing off the wall without it breaking into a million fucking pieces.
Yeah, especially when the archaeologists say that it probably took around 25,000 people to create Nan Madol. That's a lot of people, and theoretically that is probably more than enough to gather the resources needed to be able to pry these basalt columns apart.
Could be used to build.
Right.
And I would say that an aerial survey would accomplish all of that.
Yes. Or
aerial survey. Why would you need an aerial survey?
Dude, they live on the island. They could just walk the fuck around and be like, yeah, that place over there has all those big fucking rock sticks. We could just take them down. Nah, it could only be done if you had a fucking Cessna.
Type of, advanced radar technology that, in my opinion...
Why would you need radar to find columnar basalt? Stop using random scientific buzzwords to make yourself sound more logical. Fuck's sake.
Opinion existed with the extraterrestrials.
Okay, I feel like I have to add another rule. Every time one of them says something like, in my opinion, or I believe,
because I made it to fuck up, yeah.
Do build this whole line of reasoning and just end it with like, and that's just because I think so. Drink.
And the ancients tell us that there's a much older structure under Nan Madol, and you can see that there's still underwater columns at that location.
Right.
Are we gonna show them? No, you're gonna just have to take our word for it. The natives say it, and there's some columns there that prove it. So just fucking trust us on this one, guys.
Over the world, where the ancients were building impressive sites on even more ancient, even more impressive sites.
Here, at this archaeological site, stand the ruins of Heliopolis.
Pedantic editor crash out imminent. Oh dear.
Built in the 4th century BC.
The whole city was renamed Heliopolis and still exists, once again called Baalbek.
By Alexander the Great to honor Zeus. 4th century BC. By
Alexander the Great didn't build shit, he just conquered the region.
The Great to honor Zeus.
The Romans built temples for Jupiter, Bacchus, and Venus.
But beneath the Corinthian
In fact, the one in the shot is Temple of Bacchus.
In columns and remnants of both Greek and Roman architecture.
Not Greek, just Roman.
Lie the ruins.
Temple of Bacchus, Temple of Jupiter.
Of a site that is much, much older. According to archaeologists, it dates back nearly 9,000 years.
Okay, according to archaeologists isn't really the same implications as
Sorry for
mainstream
the constant pausing.
believes,
I needed to see what the text was.
I got my twee. I'm going to drink for it anyway.
The ancient city of Baalbek. Named.
The identity of this statue is in speculation. It was sold to a museum by an antique dealer and possesses no well-accepted symbols of Baal.
After the early Canaanite deity, Baal.
Baal is a title particularly associated with Hadad. It is like using Lord for Christian God. Oh, I didn't know that.
Baal is the god of life, the god of the sky, the god of the sun.
Fertility is more accurate and more so related to crops, not the god of the sun.
God that was venerated on the site of Baalbek during the Canaanite and the Phoenician times.
Archaeological surveys have revealed that the enormous stone foundation that lies at the base of the site dates back tens of thousands of years.
No, I doubt
Like it was placed there tens of thousands of years ago, or the stone is tens of thousands of years old? Because tens of thousands, if it was placed there...
11.5K? Oh, okay, 1,000 years ago, Göbekli Tepe, which is one of the oldest, it is one of the oldest, it is currently the oldest, not monolith, like ancient civilizations that built a large structure. 23,000 years ago, beginning of dog domestication, last glacial maximum, earliest evidence of ovens. Oh, earliest evidence of sewing needles.
Tens of thousands of years ago. You are 100% full of shit.
The colossal stone platform may once have served as a landing pad for space travelers.
What the fuck?
We don't know why Baalbek was chosen as this specific site. It may well be some kind of special power place.
Lord have mercy.
If UFOs were able to travel all the way to our planet, and they are implying that they had some form of levitation technology, which they do all the time, why the fuck would they need a landing place? Because I would be willing to put money on the fact that levitation technology would happen on their fucking ships. They probably wouldn't even need to touch the fucking ground. Hello, Schminky. Goodbye, Schminky.
But what was originally there, before the Roman temple, was this spaceport platform that was apparently used for extraterrestrials coming and going.
That's apparently what it was used for, guys. You know, normally when someone says apparently, it means that there's some evidence for it, but in this case, no, it's because this fucking guy said so. Drink. Also, dude, no shit, that's the only part that is left. You're like, the old part is this big flat area. Yeah, because the people who built things on it later cleared off whatever the fuck was up there before to build their thing.
As evidence, researchers point to the gigantic megalithic stones incorporated into the foundation, each weighing between 800 to 1,200 tons.
Okay, that is really fucking massive, though.
Together.
Why would they need to construct something like this as a landing pad? Again, let's run with the fact, sure, they needed a place to land.
Looks like a location for large gatherings to you. Yeah, also welcome back, Addison.
Fucking whatever. They've implied that they had levitation technology and that they have technology that was able to melt and fuse stone. So if you're a species that can travel through space, you come to Earth and you need a flat place to land for some fucking reason, you point the giant, you know, stone melter at the ground, you fucking beam the hell out of it, it melts, naturally becomes a flat surface, and you land on it.
Some of the stones are of such magnitude that modern machinery is incapable of putting them there, but somehow our ancestors were able to do this.
Look, you are totally well within your rights to be impressed by the Baalbek stones and wonder how they were moved. But attributing it to aliens is a bunch of bullshit. You don't have to be doing that. You can just be impressed that it's really big.
Also, if you say that modern machinery isn't able to move something that heavy, I would say no. We have vehicles capable of moving an entire rocket ship. And then we have a giant excavator made of steel that I'm pretty sure is probably heavier than this stone. I'm pretty sure we are able to move something this big.
That's totally fine.
Some have suggested that this stone alone weighs in excess of 1,200 tons.
Giorgio.
How was it moved there? Because obviously it's situated on top of these stone rows that we can find down here, which means that this stone had to be lifted and then set on top of these stones down.
Or you could build a ramp. You know, it is a lot easier to pull and push something than to lift the damn thing. The largest moves on paved roads was a power transformer weighing around 1 million pounds with a trailer that weighed about the same. That's a power transformer that weighs that much? 1 million is 1,000. So basically 1,000 tons. Jesus. Hey, is it 1,000 tons? Like how? What is a ton in the imperial units? If I remember correctly, the imperial ton and the metric ton are actually fairly close. Was it? I don't remember, but like if you add the two things together, that's about 2 million pounds being moved. 2,000 pounds per ton. So yeah, that's about wait, 1 million pounds. So that's about 500 tons. Yeah, that's about 500 tons being lifted by a trailer that weighs also around 500 tons. So that's about 1,000 tons.
Down here.
I mean, he's totally right. It is like probably one of the most impressive things humans have ever done, almost bar none. It's fucking absolutely insane. So I agree with that. I'm not going to attribute it to fucking aliens or lost advanced technology. It's just proof to me that ancient people were so much more capable than we give them credit for.
It is one of the oldest megalithic sites on the planet, and it has these huge stones laid out in a precise geometrical shape at a time when the prehistoric people who would have lived there, who would have gone to the Bekaa Valley in Lebanon, would have no concept of how to move stones of that nature.
Well,
can you stop being so much of a dick towards the ancient people? Jesus Christ, this is pissing me off.
Apparently they fucking did, because they are literally there. I could go to another culture that never moved a stone that big and said they had no concept of it, because they clearly didn't, because they didn't move them. But you are literally looking at the one group that most obviously had a concept of how to move a stone that big and saying that they didn't. That's crazy.
You know, it is awesome that we now have over 250 episodes of Ancient Aliens.
Pure bullshit.
You know what, George? I agree. It is awesome that you have over 250
the colors are getting crazy here.
Episodes of Ancient Aliens. Awesome is the word I would use to describe that.
And what's also cool is that a lot of these sites that we've featured are megalithic places that most people haven't even heard about beforehand.
And because of your videos, you have made everyone think that it is basically impossible to be done by humans and had to be done by aliens. Thank you for nothing, you absolute asshole.
They're not all ancient either.
Isn't it amazing that we have 250 episodes of Ancient Aliens where we go to sites that most people have never learned about and we poison their minds by telling them they were built by aliens? We are honestly some of the best people ever.
One of my favorite or most fascinating megalithic sites is Coral Castle in Florida, and it was built in the 1920s.
And it was just done by
Coral
one
Castle?
person.
Coral Castle exists. You can visit it to this day. So it's possible we have this megalithic site in Florida that was built with an extraterrestrial technology.
I'm sorry, what? This one is new to me. This one is new to me. But if we have a megalithic site that was built in the 1900s with alien technology, you'd think we might have a little more fucking evidence for it, but
For anyone who knows about Coral Castle, please tell me more about it, because I sure as hell have never heard of this place.
I don't know. Let's see.
A stone garden made of sculpted blocks of ancient coral, some weighing 30 tons. It's called the Coral Castle.
Coral Castle in Florida is often said to be the only modern megalithic structure ever built.
Who says that? I'm learning that Childress just fucking says random shit. He's the one that's probably the most guilty of the I think, therefore it is. But I would say that it's definitely not the only modern megalithic structure. I mean...
Like, if we want to consider something that is a mega building, again, the Burj Khalifa, a building that is 1 kilometer tall, the Three Gorges Dam, which is a dam that is so goddamn big, it is slowed down the Earth's rotation by a few milliseconds. The humans are capable of making really, really massive buildings. Let's see, people all over the world still create structures with giant rocks for artistic, spiritual, memorial, and experimental archaeological purposes. These are usually group efforts, while Coral Castle was built by one person. That is really crazy. Some examples are the large stone structures built by one person are Bishop Castle in Colorado and La Palais Ideal in France. Les Palais. Though people just build weird shit by themselves all the time. Yeah.
We still, like, it's not as common as it was, but, like, I would say that fucking, I'm gonna go Mount Rushmore again. That would be a megalithic structure.
Yeah,
I could
Mount
go to the
Rushmore.
Washington Monument or the Lincoln Memorial. Those are both megalithic structures that are modern. Yeah, they weren't built in the 1900s, sure, but, like, we still build this shit, dude.
In 1923, Ed Leedskalnin, a Latvian immigrant, began building what he originally called Rockgate Park. But believe it or not, Leedskalnin insisted that he was not using modern machinery to build the impressive structure. He also claimed that he was working alone.
Well, Ed was a hermit, and Ed was a loner, and he was a foreigner, and he was a recluse.
Guys, he said that he was working alone and that he wasn't using modern technology, so it must be true.
He was in love with a woman, and he wanted to build this facility in memory of her, and he waited for her to come from Europe. And he waited, and he waited, and she never did. But the big question is how did this frail little man move these thousands of pounds of block?
That is, stop being such a dick to the person who built this.
It's the fucking radio host guy. I cannot believe, oh, Jesus Christ. He hasn't made an appearance for this entire watch session. And the first time he does, he's like, how did this fucking pussy-ass bitch move these big-ass rocks?
By himself.
Barely over 5 feet tall and weighing just 100 pounds.
This lame little manlet,
Oh god,
how
the
could he
colors
have
are
done
going
something
weirder,
so
weirder.
impressive?
Leedskalnin is said to have carved, moved, and hoisted huge multi-ton stones using only a makeshift tripod.
He has a tripod.
There are videos of people doing that now. There's a guy on fucking YouTube that moves like enormous stones using like fucking gravity and ropes and shit. Oh my god, these people are like, he didn't let anyone watch him work and therefore it must have been aliens. Isn't it weird how the only evidence we have of this lost advanced technology is the one time no one let them watch them do it? Huh, amazing.
3 pieces of Florida pine, and he's got some chains, and he's now gonna lift 30 tons, 10 tons of rock. Can't be done. No one could do that.
He would work at night.
You are literally talking about a guy that did exactly that. This is like that whole thing with you are
the one specific editor who always tells Milo to turn on his lights.
Literally talking about a guy that did exactly that. This is like that whole thing with the Baalbek stone of being like, these people couldn't have moved the Baalbek stone. It's like they're the only people that did move the Baalbek stone, you fucking moron.
He wouldn't let anybody watch him. And he said that he knew the secrets of the pyramids.
Dude.
Just because he says it doesn't mean it's actually
autism.
True.
Autism. My man wanted to have his peace and quiet, and his special interest was building a fucking castle out of coral blocks, all right? And he was really good at it, and he figured out how to use fucking 3 giant branches and chains to lift up a fucking coral block and put it on top of another coral block. How is that? Oh my god. I think the world has been set back fucking millennia by people thinking that autism was just invented in, like, 2005.
Had he rediscovered the same advanced technology used to build megalithic
I think I remember watching
like
this video. Like, I think I remember watching this video as a kid, and and even as a kid, I was dumbfounded by how stupid the argument was for this episode. No modern, so horses could have been used, since the term horsepower is the mechanical power to lift a certain amount of weight the same vertical distance in the same time we know the number of horses can. Oh, that's how it is. Oh. So that's how the term horsepower came around. I just thought it was actually the power of a horse. Oh. The more you learn.
And Sacsayhuaman.
Actually, yeah, you know what? I would imagine he probably did have access to the same technology they used to build that, and it wasn't alien technology. He was just a really fucking smart guy who figured out how to work smarter, not harder. So, by virtue of that, yeah, he absolutely did have access to the same technology.
Leith Skolnin continued work on the Coral Castle until his death in 1951.
So how long was it?
In the journals he left behind, the builder explained that he had discovered the ancient secret of transforming stones into weightless objects.
Ed says this in his pamphlet, Magnetic Current, that real gravity is actually real.
Nowhere in this pamphlet is there mention of the word gravity. Also, what? Real gravity is real magnets.
So if you reverse the magnet forces with a force...
The North and South Pole magnets, they are cosmic force. They hold together this Earth and... No, that is not how magnets work. That is not how the world is held together. The planet is held together by gravity. The reason why we have magnetic poles in the Earth is because we have a liquid core. The Earth has a liquid we have the mantle, which is solid, and then the layers inside that we have a lot of liquid molten layers that are spinning, and because we have because of that, it creates magnetic forces. That is why we have a magnetic force, and that is why we have magnetic poles. That is why we have the magnetosphere around the planet. That is why Mars doesn't have one, because Mars doesn't have a molten core. It is not that hard to understand.
Of some kind of electromagnetic radio, perhaps, frequency, you can then make these rocks not as heavy.
Why don't they show the actual excerpt from his journal? Because that could very easily just be interpreted as he figured out how to build a tripod out of fucking sticks, like they said he did, and use the weight of a block and some fucking leverage and shit to lift it up. The magnet thing, who fucking knows about the magnet thing? But why don't they show us what he actually wrote instead of telling us? Because I can't believe a word that comes out of their mouths because they just bullshit so often.
Some suggest the answer lies in a mysterious black box that can be seen in various photographs. A box that has since disappeared.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I remember this episode.
Box, I don't know what the black box is. It very well might be fucking alien tech. But I'm gonna use an educated guess here and say that the black box that is very obviously going over the tops of the 3 fucking sticks is to keep water from getting into the fucking lumber in the rainy environment of Florida. You goddamn, oh my God. It's just a box, bro. Jesus. It is insane that they are looking at an image of him using a tripod and chain pulley leverage system, very obviously lifting the stones. And the thing they're talking about is the fucking black box on the top.
He had some kind of magnetic machine down in one of his other house areas that has since been dismantled, but it had a revolving ability. He may have been having that thing spin. The whole place could have been anti-gravity.
He had a magnetic machine. It's been dismantled and doesn't exist, but you're gonna just have to take my word for it because I fucking think so.
We can only surmise that due to the way this thing is made, it had a coil over here, and you have these magnets all the way around it. So as the magnets go by, you will induce a voltage on the coil.
This was an old world machine designed before World War I near Germany in the Baltic region. This simple DC machine ran off multiple car batteries tied in electrical parallel.
Probably just pushed these into place.
If he could push them into place, he would have built something bigger. That's a pretty
Do I want to argue about gravity and how? Do I want to argue about how magnets do not affect gravity? And besides, the blocks are coral blocks. They wouldn't be affected by electromagnets. Why is this even a thing? I am. I forgot how dumb Ancient Aliens arguments can be. Sweet fuck.
impressive what he built, but this is one guy we're talking about.
We have 7 minutes left. Let's keep going.
Intelligent and built something really amazing. But how the fuck, if you could make everything weightless, I would just make like the tallest stack of rocks imaginable.
The fact that one guy created these massive structures is absolutely fascinating. Am I suggesting that he did this with extraterrestrial technology? No, because I don't know. Am I excluding that possibility? No.
Yo, George, don't start bringing in the plausible deniability now. All right, you can say it. You can say that it was extraterrestrial technology. You know, I'll drink for it, but you can say it. It's okay. I give you permission.
I think that extraterrestrials would not have left our solar system
Eric!
some thousands of years ago.
Eric! Oh, Eric, I'm sorry, man. I just finished my drink, but I'll drink some water for you. Pour one out, my friend. Good to see you here.
Go without any proof. They wanted that in the far future we start to reflex. Have we been visited by outer space?
Worldwide, on every continent, the most ancient of structures all essentially feature the same type of masonry or stonework. And
my guess is not because it's not because all the ancient civilizations had the access to the same type of ancient technology that allowed them to move gigantic blocks and stack them together. My guess it is because these specific types of architecture was the type of architecture that was able to hold up the test of time. Because a lot of these structures, like you can see the arguments that they had, like the places they have mentioned. We had the ancient Egypt, we had the ancient periods. We have the pyramids of Giza built during the ancient Egyptian times. We have the South American pyramids built by the Mesoamerican cultures. We have the buildings in we have the columnar basalt columns in Nan Madol. We have the giant stone blocks in Saksai Woman. They were all built in a way that was able to hold up they were all built up in a way that was able to withstand the test of time, and those that didn't, and cultures that didn't, and the cultures that weren't able to make buildings that lasted long, those buildings basically crumbled and failed. So the surviving evidence suggests and so my assumption is the surviving evidence is why people think a lot of these places have the same technology, because those are the type of architecture that can survive that long. A lot of these structures are not built at the same time across the planet. It was common to send people to learn technology you learned about from traders and merchants that travel around the world. Yeah, that's true. I know that is definitely true, because I remember the Romans were absolutely enamored by ancient Egypt. Like some of them even, I remember some rich guy built like a little pyramid for his own tomb. Like people would see things and then they would like your argument is also another thing. People go other places, they see things, and then they would bring the knowledge back. And then those things that survive are the things that survive. Those that didn't crumble, and that's why so many things that survive have a similar type of architecture. Ah! I'm sorry for crashing out so hard this episode. I think I crashed out even worse than I did last episode. I apologize.
You can't just attribute this to coincidence. Either our ancestors all went to the same school, or they were visited by the same teachers.
How is the H block anything similar to columnar basalts in Nan-Madol?
What do you mean the same stonework? Because you just showed carved stone blocks that look like the big letter H, and now you're showing
just
columnar
literal
basalts that were
column
naturally
basalts
shaped
that
like
were just
that, stacked like
together.
this. They are about as different as stone can possibly be. Do you mean that they all moved stone? Because no shit. That's the commonality between all the sites, the megalithic sites. That's why it's called megaliths. Lithic is stone, but there's a lot of sites that didn't do that. The mound builders, again, built with earth because that was the resource they had a lot of. There is no commonality between these sites. No matter how much ancient aliens theorists want you to believe there is, they're like, oh, they're all pyramids. All the pyramids look different. They're all for different fucking purposes. And there's a lot of megaliths that aren't fucking pyramids.
The ubiquitous knowledge seems to be coming from either one source or a shared source that is influencing the whole globe.
Yes, the shared source that is influencing the whole globe is that they are all people that live on the same fucking planet with the same fucking resources with the same properties. Everyone lives around stone, and they're gonna figure out how to stack it the hell up.
But now we're starting to develop as a more accurate picture of
that's
this
the end of the
megalithic
episode.
Civilization that was global, that was highly advanced, intelligent, probably working with extraterrestrials, and now we're beginning to learn the truth.
Whoa, that was really bad, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I knew that Ancient Aliens was rough, but I honestly, that was worse than I was expecting. Couple
Same,
takeaways.
Milo, same.
That was a lot of fun. I still think that Georgios Tsoukalos is probably one of my favorite people on the planet, and I would give one of my arms to actually sit down in the same room with him and share fat fucking J. I never want to do this again. That's another point. And lastly, I'm rolling right now, and it is dark, and I'm going to go take a piss, and we're gonna synthesize all of this in once I am coherent again. Wow, that was awful.
Regular
that was really
colors.
awful. I don't know what I was expecting. But honestly, it was worse than I was expecting. I felt a little bad going into these videos, being like, is it bad of me to just sit down and like live react? Like, am I doing a disservice by not like doing enough research beforehand to have like a really crystallized position on these points? And then as I was watching it, I was like, oh no, I honestly could come into this completely blind and shit-faced drunk and still be able to do what I do best. So no.
Yeah, like the fact that we don't need oh look, a bot. Like the fact that even someone like me who is not trained in any sort of archaeology or history lessons or all these, am still capable of just debunking these claims using nothing but knowledge that I have, certainly speaks a lot to how credible these goddamn stupid ancient alien theories are.
Oh, I'm honestly glad I didn't dedicate more time to it because it didn't need any more time. If you want me to do something like this again in the future, let me know. I'd have to really think on it, or I'd have to pull someone else in on a collab. But God knows I have bigger Atlantis-shaped fish to fry. I made a promise, and now I have to keep it, okay? I better see you at the episode of Uncut Vermont, April Fool's video, April 1st. It's gonna happen. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you could leave a like, a share, a comment, whatever floats your suit. Ad revenue is the thing that keeps this channel going and allows these videos to exist here for free for you on YouTube. Interactions like likes, shares, and comments helps promote this video in the algorithm and gives myself and the team the ad revenue that we need to keep making these videos for free for you. Like I always say, leaving an interaction is like tipping the bellhop. It doesn't cost you a cent and it helps us continue doing what we do here. I'd also like to give a little hello to everyone watching at the live premiere. Hi guys, every other Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, I'd like to give a massive thank you to my editorial team. You may not see their faces, but each one of these videos is the product of hundreds of hours of work from a team of almost 10 people. They are the beating heart of this channel, and without them, simply put, these videos would not exist.
I will definitely link this video, link the original video in the comments, not in the comments, in the description.
Grab some of this cool stuff. All of our merch is made with love and part of my commitment to put good things out into the world. I know money is a tough thing in the world right now, and so my team and I are very grateful for all of your purchases. It helps us immensely to continue doing what we do here, and I hope that this can brighten up your life a little bit, decorate one of your walls, means the world to us, and you can rest easy knowing that you are part of the reason that this continues happening. Link to this, stickers, and a bunch of other fun stuff is in the description of this video. Go check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. My name is Milo Rossi. Remember to stay curious, stay inquisitive, and most importantly, I'm trying to think of something. I can't stop thinking about that door hinge. That fucking door hinge. How are you gonna be like, do you see this gap? Did you know that if I made a door hinge to fit in this gap, there'd be a door hinge there? What the fuck is that about? Oh my God.
Yeah, that one annoys me the most. Experimental archaeology is
the measurement
good,
of the deviation between the actual shape
forcing
of the intended
a
shape
result
and
is not
what? By the
a
time I started
genuine
the
way to
second
do
part
it.
of the series, the aliens were trying to silence me. I want to get fucking hammered. I want to get slammered on a Thursday.
Hey, it's Friday Junior.
Friday Junior, 3:45. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Yeah, exactly. Back in my day, I used to get plastered at frat parties on Wednesdays. Now
I have never gotten drunk because I don't like alcohol.
I get shit-faced. Yeah, 3 years ago. Now I get shit-faced in my living room watching Ancient Aliens on Thursdays. How the mighty fall. Yeah, probably. Hands. Got one word. Bell. It's under the sauce.
Give love a bad name. Whoa, 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 whoa. You give love a bad name.
Oh, autofocus? That's fucking sick, bro. Check that out. Yeah, I'm awesome. All right, wow, that, oh God, I have to piss like a fucking racehorse. All right, where were we? Nope, we do not need to start this episode from the beginning. That would be fucking horrible.
Ah, that was quite something, wasn't it? Ah, boy. Well, that was certainly something. Feel free to respond. Feel free to comment down below if you want me to react to anything else. Hopefully, something that doesn't make me crash out as hard. Please don't make me react. Please don't make me react to flat Earth things. By the way, I am genuinely pissed off at flat Earth arguments. It is so easily you can prove them wrong so easily. What do you mean you want to watch me suffer even more? Please don't make me watch the flat Earth videos. Like there was a video where they literally paid for flat earthers to go all the way to Antarctica to prove the Earth is flat. Sorry, oh God, that is a bad slip. To prove if the world is round or flat, and the flat earthers that went there finally had to give in, but some of them still deny it desperately.